Yeah, I think those days are gone, and you need to be smarter about it. Like Bitcoin now, like you're not early. No one's really early. Even if it goes to $1 million, even if it goes to $10 million, which it might in the next 20, 30 years, if it does what it's doing, which is basically absorbing the world's liquidity, right? People are moving money out. You know, the governments are printing money. They're adding liquidity into the system. And Bitcoin is a sponge that's starting to attract a lot of that money, right? People are selling properties, they're buying Bitcoin. People are putting their savings into Bitcoin, and they're doing it all around the world, right? So it's like this giant sponge that's sucking it all up.
Kosta, how do you want to start this? I mean, is there anything specific that you want to do?
Well, I've flown all the way from Australia and I'm in Dubai. So maybe we just start, how do we get here?
I mean, the thing is like, I kind of make it out like you have a choice. Like we haven't just started the episode from the first time I asked you how we want to start it. This is how I start my episode.
Yeah, I know.
I like to fire out. I think you've realized by now, you're like, this is a dickhead, bro. I was going to start it with, I'm joined by Satoshi Nakamoto. They wouldn't know the difference, right?
No, I was actually I was watching a couple of YouTube videos on the way here in the car and I saw you do that to someone. And I was like, yeah, I'll be ready for that.
Welcome. And you know what? It's nice. It's not your first time in the studio because you're recording here as well. So it's like there's a...
Yeah, man, this is a great studio. It's really, really nice. You know, we'll set up there the other day and then we'll set up here. And now this is the hot seat though, right?
But just to let you know, like, you are sitting here, but never again will you be renting in this studio and we'll get this space again. This is like sometimes when people come in, I look on the CCTV just to hear if Wynn's like, yeah, you can sit here kind of thing. I was like, no, bro, this is a protect. It's kind of like,
we avoided this spot.
You know, what do they call it when something's been there for years and years and it's like a national... Not a national treasure. It's like a national that when you can't touch it, you can't build on it.
It's like sacred, right? It's
It's one of those sacred grounds.
I felt that. But I noticed that from the Golden Mics.
Golden Mic, you like those,
we didn't
right?
get that.
Given to us by Shaw, the only podcast in the world with gold mics. Real gold, I may have, real gold. Welcome to Dubai and stuff, man. How are you liking it?
I'm liking it, man. Look, I've come from Australia and it's the winter and Australia's usually quite hot. Yeah. This is really hot.
Really? Hotter than Oz?
This is hot. Yeah. Dubai's hot. When you get outside, it's like... It's like sauna hot.
Yeah, because we don't have any like wind.
Yeah, you don't have wind. Well. I'm used to a bit of wind.
Yeah, look, wind doesn't serve us. If it's not making us money, we're not going to allow it into the country, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You guys just let anyone in there. That's why so many lebos are in there like me.
That's true.
And they're allowed to run wild in there. But no wind, no lebos, But look, we got so much to talk about.
We do.
I really like these kind of episodes because I'm a child in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I say that meaning... I know way too little about important things in life and things that are happening.
Okay.
I was talking to my wife about that the other day. I was having a go at her because she was remembering numbers and dates and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I like to think I'm a smart guy. And I like to think it's because I only save space in my head for things that's important.
Yeah.
When I only know it's my birthday because somebody has asked me recently. And that's how I know how old I am. Okay. Because I don't care.
I always just say the one from the year before. The last one you said.
I honestly don't care. And when she was saying stuff like, oh yeah, I left school in 1992. I'm like, how do you know that? And why have you stored that information and how does it serve you? Right? So I tend to kind of only like to learn information that can help me in daily life now, as opposed to the past and history. So this is a really good one. And I was speaking to my friend and she was like, look, get him to break this down as basic as possible.
Okay.
And I said, what else do you think I'm going to do? Because I am as basic as possible. I don't know enough about this kind of world.
Yeah.
Apart from dickhead friends of mine that made millions of crypto.
Yeah.
So let's talk. I want history. I want how you got into it. Everything, bro.
Yeah. So what we're actually doing right now is we develop algorithms, and the algorithms are built to trade Bitcoin, mostly Bitcoin futures. And Bitcoin is a really unique asset, right? And we really set it apart from crypto. I think there's a real distinction now between crypto and Bitcoin. And I can go back to when I first started because everyone gets attracted to this industry originally because they hear the stories about people making a lot of money, Maybe they weren't even that smart. Maybe
or losing a lot of money, ordering pizza with fucking
correct,
Bitcoin.
All that stuff. So But particularly in 2021, 2022, there was a huge run on the altcoins, right? There were people that were literally, you could buy anything and it was just like going up 10x. And Bitcoin at the time was around $69,000. That was the peak of last cycle. No one wanted to buy Bitcoin. It was $69,000, right? It's like, well, I'm not going to make any money on something that's already $69,000. I missed the boat on Bitcoin, right? We're going to now invest in all these other tokens.
Me, yeah.
Correct. How much did you lose?
Well, look, my thing is, somebody gave me something as a gift.
Yeah.
And it went from $400 to about $68,000.
Yeah, wow.
And because I had no idea what was going, and it wasn't Bitcoin, it was one of the other. Because I didn't put that money in. I didn't think, okay, let's just cash out. I was like, okay, this is the way it works, and I guess I can be a millionaire in a year.
It's going up forever. Yeah,
kind of thing. So I didn't, and like 2 weeks later, it was like $100. And I was like, this is a bit dodge.
Correct. So like even myself, like I was in Australia at the time in that I've been raising capital for a managed fund, an equities fund in Australia. And I'd done a lot of work before online. I had a company in Australia too. My best friend is actually a stockbroker.
Okay.
And me and him ran a company for about 7 years, digital marketing company. It was a digital product, and we were marketing it online. That went really well. And as we were having success with this, we were investing in equities in the Australian stock market, and we did really well from that as well. Now he's gone on to run a managed fund. It's one of the biggest in Australia. He's a value investor actually. So one of the things that I got from working alongside him and learning from him was the value investing approach. This is like the Benjamin Graham, Warren Buffett approach to investing, where you need to look at the fundamentals. You got to look at cash flows and book value. And that's how you buy a company. You want to look at something that's priced, not necessarily cheaply, but priced reasonably, but has good, future potential. It's going to make money in the future. It's got good management, good company. And, the stock price is reasonable. Okay, I'm going to buy this stock and it's going to go up because the fundamentals are there to drive it up, right? Now, that's great. It's a very big research game. You've got to research companies and all that. So again, I was raising capital for them. And at this time was the 2021, 2022 cycle. So I'll tie it all together. And then I had another friend who was buying a lot of crypto. And we just cashed out of some really big trades. And he kind of, this is like a staking protocol of an altcoin that was returning 8% every 8 hours.
8 hours?
Yeah, it was insane. And he was like, my friend has been running this for like 6 months and he's making this insane amount of money. And mind you, I didn't know it was the top of the cycle when I got in. And so I'm like, wow, this is like amazing. Like, so I bought a bunch, and I'm talking like in Australian dollars, it was over 6 figures of this coin. Yeah. And I'm watching it and it's going up every 8 hours, right?
By 8%.
It was going up by 8% every 8 hours. People can look it up. It was called Wonderland.
Wow.
This was a big catastrophe in the crypto space. It was just before the FTX blow up, but this was a huge one in DeFi. So you can look it up, the Wonderland.
It was
time.
the fire festival of
crypto. Kind of, right? So I'm seeing it for the first time. I'd never bought any crypto before. And then these things are like just ticking over. So what do? I buy more. Right? Never made so much money so quickly.
You're married at this time, right?
Right? Yes. Yeah.
And you're not telling her anything at this point, right?
But hold on. You know what they always say? You gamble with money that's easy. Now, what I mean by easy money, no money is easy. Yeah. When you work for your money, you get paid an hourly wage. That's hard money, right? When you sell your products and all, that's hard money. But if you invest in someone else's company and you make 3, 4, 5x, it's a little bit easier. Now you can use some of that and we can call it, this was the money that I was using. So, this wasn't going to send me under.
So the relationship was still good at home.
The relationship
you weren't telling her that.
Yeah, that's fine. I saw a funny thing the other day, a meme actually. This made me laugh. It was a meme from this Nicolas Cage movie, but the meme's like Nicolas Cage, telling his wife, "Oh, babe, I made $1,000 today in crypto," and she's like, "Oh, does that mean you make $1,000 a month? And he looks
So
at
no
and just
idea.
starts laughing.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like laughing.
Yeah.
It's like
100%.
I was doing that to my missus. I was like, hey, we just made $2,000 in the last 8 hours. We just made $2,000 in the last
So
8
what was
hours.
she thinking at that point as well? Because
Oh, look, she's fine.
it must have been one of those. No, but it must have been one of those moments where it's like,
Yeah, she's like,
yeah, I made the right choice with this one. Like everything's
yeah,
gonna change, right? Kind of
yeah,
thing.
but she would just say, so are we going to buy a new house at the end of the
Yeah,
year?
yeah,
Or it was like
how many hours till we buy the
so I was
next
like,
house?
yeah,
That kind
don't
of
worry.
thing.
No, we'll buy a house in,
Yeah.
in 6 months.
Yeah.
So, the worst came out of that in 6 months' time. I was like, we're not buying a house this year. It's not happening.
We're selling our house. Like, to get, yeah, wow.
So this thing's going crazy. We're putting money into it. And it comes down like a house of cards, right? And then there was another thing that I'd invested in. It kind of had a similar yield structure to it. And these are called Ponzinomics. These coins are centralized. So someone's released them. They own them. They control the supply. And they can basically issue at will. So what they're doing is they set up something that sounds really promising. People then buy the coin. They stake it. And then they basically start a process of inflation by releasing more tokens, promising you more of that token, right? What eventually happens is as it accrues, everyone's making money, but you're issuing at the same time. So it's,
so it's not really worth it.
Well, no, what happens is it gets to the top is everyone's starting to sell, and it is a Ponzi scheme. Like the reality is it is. And, if you don't get out quick enough, you will be exit liquidity. So I was exit liquidity and I learned my lesson.
And invested more in Bitcoin.
Well, this was the thing, right? And then I started to do my research a little bit more, and I took responsibility. I go, look, I've aped into this, right? I saw easy money, easy money, and I got sucked in. I got seduced by it, and I got what I deserved because I wasn't stupid enough to think that, like, I understood the tokenomics, and I understood that the last man standing was not going to walk away. With anything, right? So maybe that was a karmic thing too, right?
That's why you should have got a couple of friends to do it, so you could have got out knowing they're still standing in it. Like,
this thing had over $1 billion at the time.
Wow.
I think it had $1 billion. It got nuked.
Is classed as a rug pull or not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would say as a rug pull. They didn't disappear with the funds. The funds it's just got
disappeared. The funds disappeared.
Well, because they kept printing money to get the new people. So it's like it's
kind of
impossible.
sounds like the world we're living in today.
I know,
bro.
yeah, that's the thing. So anyway, but I start to go, there was some really cool stuff, right? And it got my attention. The ease of transaction, right? The fact that I could buy something online I was using MetaMask wallet at the time, and I was able to do these transactions at lightning speed. And it kind of felt like the stock market on steroids. Anyway, so we start coming back. I started thinking though about this whole thing and Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin was now starting to come down, and then we had the FTX crash, bang, and then we had another one, bang. And I was going, I actually see the potential here, but the potential is not in this other stuff because of the reasons I just said, the tokenomics, the supplies, the centralized nature of them. And then you've got Bitcoin here on the side. And then I started to go, there's got to be a way to trade this smartly, right? And there is. And that's one of the things that we've started working on is this algorithmic approach to trading Bitcoin. But regardless to getting with what we do specifically and the problem we solve, just Bitcoin as an asset is interesting to talk about. So a lot of the arguments against Bitcoin is that it lacks fundamentals, right? Now you can argue about that till the cows come home, but the reality is that it's following what's called a power law trajectory, right? Okay. Now, a power law trajectory is something that we find in complex systems in nature. I'll give you an example, right? You got a lot of earthquakes in the world. You got a lot of tiny little earthquakes, and then you got like a few massive earthquakes, right? If you put them on a log chart, so a logarithmic of the y-axis and a logarithmic of the x-axis, right? You can plot a straight line through them. This is also similar in the distributions of cities, right? Lots of small cities and then lots of big cities. Like you can imagine, you've got Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and then like tons of little things, right? Power law growth. So complex systems in nature follow power law trends. And funnily enough, Bitcoin is following a power law. Now, why does that make it unique? Well, no other asset class in the world, no other financial asset, No, follows a power law. Then you have to ask yourself, why is it following a power law? Well, because it has the DNA of a natural complex organism because it is a network, right? Because Bitcoin is shared between people and the growth of it is like the growth of a city, right? It's like you introduce me to Bitcoin, I introduce you to it. It has a network effect. Gold doesn't have a network effect. Silver doesn't have a network effect. Oil doesn't have a network effect.
Wow.
Bitcoin does. Another power law is the amount of words used in a language follows a power law. So these are really interesting things. So, okay, you've got this asset and it's following a power law trend. Now, this also doesn't mean that it's going to follow it forever, but it means that it's like trying to move the Titanic. If something is on a power law trajectory, it's very, very difficult to knock it off its path.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's especially with the tightness of Bitcoins. So these are the things I start to understand. And I got a lot of this through a professor. His name's Giovanni Santastasi. And we actually work closely with him now because he helps develop our risk management. But he discovered the power law model for Bitcoin's trajectory. So then knowing that, I started then investing in Bitcoin, right? That was my thesis.
What date? When?
So this would have been the end of 2022. Right, so it dropped to about 16K. Actually, I didn't start buying till it was around 38K, 40K. So the market bottomed out.
But that's still good at 38K to
well,
now,
today
right?
it's like 117 as we speak. Yeah, so it's gone up like 3 times, right? So, but by no means am I early, right? And that's another really cool thing. Like you don't need to be early, but I do think we're at the point where you need to be smarter.
Yeah.
So you've got one or two options. You can take your chances with crypto, like I did.
Yeah.
I got wrecked. Or you can.
But you had to get wrecked like that, so you could get the Bitcoin, if you know what I mean. That eventually led you to
this is
to
like
the right way.
How many
right?
businesses you started before you found the right business?
Yeah, too many. Yeah,
correct. So you got to learn from your lessons. Hopefully, they're not big enough to knock you down and you can't get up. Yeah. That's a big one.
But see, this is the problem that I deal with, and well, not that I deal with, but that people have said to me. Like I said, I was on the call with my friend, and she was like, I'm scared of the risk with Bitcoin.
Yeah, well,
like a lot of people see it as risk. Some people till today are still saying it's a scam. And I literally said, well, it's a pretty long running scam. Like, do scams run this long?
No.
Or?
So this is what's really interesting. Ponzi schemes have a mathematical equation. It's not a power law mathematical equation. They actually have their own. Bitcoin is also into its 4th cycle. Ponzi's do not have cycles. They have a huge run up at the top and then they crash, right? But what I found most interesting, and you can actually go find this on Giovanni's X post, is there's actually a mathematical model to describe how a Ponzi scheme works, right? And it's not the same thing. So from a scientific perspective, it's not a Ponzi scheme. So you can't make that argument because it can be proven with math. The fundamentals question is really, really interesting, right? You say it has no fundamentals, but like, does the money in your wallet have fundamentals? No, it's backed by the government.
Yeah.
And, most people in the Western world are saying, they're so focused on the US dollar or the Australian dollar or the Canadian dollar or the British pound, which it's melting like an ice cube anyway.
And it's not trustworthy either.
Well, but they're the most trusted in the world, right? Like you go to a country in Africa, or you go to a country in South America, those currencies aren't even trusted at all. So there's no fundamentals to the currencies that we're working with anyway. So what are the fundamentals of Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is mined. A lot of people probably don't understand the concept of Bitcoin being mined.
It's not an 8-year-old with a pickaxe just trying to.
But just imagine that it is, right? And there's a cost that is involved in that, which does help create a support, right? Now, there is a support if you put Bitcoin's trajectory on a log, which is a logarithmic of the Y and logarithm of the X. We've got the power law. What's interesting is there's another power law, which is the bottom, and that's the support. Now, in Bitcoin's history from the Genesis block, it's never breached this support, right? So what that means is that there is a fundamental line where you could say is Bitcoin's fundamental value at any given time. And it's probably got to do with a lot of things, one of them being the cost of mining. that if it falls almost to this line or below it, it's actually more profitable to buy Bitcoin than to mine it anymore, right? So what that means is that the majority of the Bitcoin that's sold on the market is coming from miners because they're the ones who need to pay for the cost of mining it. If they don't need to mine it anymore because it's better to just buy it on market, then they're no longer sellers. So there's tremendous buying pressure at this point.
It seems like so much information. Just like when you say miners, I just picture a room like this with 10,000 computers in it. And
It's a lot more than that. Yeah, it's all around the world.
How do you become a miner? Is it something that anyone can do, or?
So mining you used to be able to do mining on your computer.
So you mine it and then you get it, right?
Yeah. The problem is now it's so competitive that they're using very, very, they're called ASIC. They huge data centers.
Yeah.
And all they're doing is guessing a number. They're all just guessing a number. That's what the mining actually is.
But how do you regulate who's allowed to mine or not?
It's not.
Because
There's
what
no
if there's
regulation.
some
this is, yeah.
some guy in the middle of the Amazonian rainforest who's managed to plug the leaves into the ground or whatever, but it's like some Escobar types person who's mining them.
So it doesn't matter because the system itself is decentralized, right?
Okay.
And at any given time when a block is approved by the whole network, there's only that one miner gets that reward, right? That one who solves the problem gets the reward. So they're all fighting. It's like a game theory, but they're all incentivized to continue with the protocol. And then whoever wins that particular block gets the fees and the mining payout, whatever it is at the moment. I think it's like 3 point something Bitcoin. So the system is really robust. It's decentralized. Anyone can do it, but it's an institutional game now. The average person cannot do it.
Yeah, this is fucking Mario Brothers mixed with the Matrix, bro. Like it's crazy.
It's a bit like that.
But people are coming in now because you're seeing Dubai. Have you seen their new?
Yeah, I know the sovereign wealth funds invested in this stuff as well.
So everyone's kind of. It seems as though we're going cashless anyway, and that's the way forward.
Well, you've got everyone. We're going cashless, and then you've got this decentralized thing in a world that is trying to become more centralized.
So how does this work? Is this good versus evil? Like how is it gonna?
Yeah, man, that's like a really interesting way to put it. It kind of is because, or it's more like it's the people's money.
Yeah.
Right. Everything else is the government's money. Right.
Yeah.
This is the people's money because it was invented.
But the government are not going to allow the people to have money, are they? So
but this is the beauty about Bitcoin. See, no one can control it. It's beyond the point of being able to control it. It can't be stopped. It can only really be ignored, but it can't be stopped. Like, because Bitcoin will run on one person's computer. At the end of the day, if everyone stopped using it, one person could just run it. So the more people that join the network, miners, it becomes harder. The less people, it becomes easier.
But how does it work in regards to, again, I'm just thinking in terms of V is for Vendetta kind of movies, styles in my head. But I think eventually the governments are going to go, we know that guy's got a bit of Bitcoin. Let's find a way to take it from him. Absolutely.
But that's like anything, right? That's like anything. This is another really cool thing I've spoken to a few people about. So what's really cool about Bitcoin though, is if we're doing stuff, this is like completely like self-custody. You're not using a centralized exchange. You take ownership of it. Bitcoin, you can create it's called a seed phrase, 12, 24 words. You know about the seed phrases, right? All right, just think about this. This is really interesting. The whole world, why do castles exist?
To stop the enemies from coming in, no?
To take what? Your gold.
Yeah.
Correct. Right? So the idea of wealth, as we know it, gold, silver, had to be protected by strength. Right? Correct? You need an army.
Yeah, you don't need anyone now.
Well, no. So I could have $1 billion in my brain.
Wow.
Now you want to take that money from me. You can kill me, but you don't get it. You got to negotiate with me. Whereas in the past, you could just kill me. And
I'll give you one word every 8 hours.
But do you get what I mean? Now, I think that there's a massive difference in the future of just the way that like you can have a tiny nation state with loads of Bitcoin. You can invade them, but you can't take their Bitcoin, right? This really, it changed, like philosophically, the implications of this, I don't think have really been thought through by many people.
But also at the same time is, you've got to tell someone because you don't want to, we know how life is now, right? You could fart and die and then you take those billions with you.
But you take them with you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but fundamentally it's changed things. And this comes back to the point of this, right? because you asked the question, is this a scam?
Mm.
Just think about the power of that. That's not going to disappear. The power of that technology it's so, it's never existed in the history of the world. And you think like that powerful technology, everyone's just going to turn around and go, oh, it's a scam. I'm going to sell all my Bitcoin. No way. No way.
Here's another question.
It's just not going to happen.
Here's another question.
Yeah.
What was that win? All right, I'll ask him now. Just pretending that he did it so I don't sound like an idiot by asking it. Can you turn Bitcoin off at any?
No.
You can't?
No.
There's no way that everyone, who's that? Bloody hell, you've been here for fucking 15 years. Is that my phone? Actually, turn that off, silence that. It's actually me.
Impossible.
So there's no way of removing
only if we went
Bitcoin.
back to the dark ages. No electricity, no anything. Yeah.
Wow. See, this is the thing. I really want to get into it because I know that, I know all about dollar cost average and all that stuff, and I know about trading stocks and all that, but
yeah,
I just feel like I'm missing out by not trading in Bitcoin.
In Bitcoin. So again, there's a distinction of holding and trading, right? So holding, of course, you buy something for the long term. Something like Bitcoin, they say, usually have at least a 4-year horizon. If not, hold it forever. To be honest now, I think it's to the point that no one wants to sell their Bitcoin because it's going up. Why would you sell it? But now we have a problem. Well, what's the problem? Well, the problem is if you don't sell it, how do you realize anything from it, right? You have to sell it at some point, but you don't want to sell it because you realize it's the hardest money on the planet.
It's got that thing though, because you might sell it and then 2 days later something happens and it goes up even more and you're like,
Absolutely.
Yo guys, so everybody knows there's 2 days in a boat captain's life that are the best days ever. The day you buy the boat and the day you finally sell the boat. After fixing it, after doing all the maintenance, after scrubbing all those little barnacles off the bottom, it's a headache. But that's where the Captain's Club comes in. So they started this really cool club. All you do, you sign up for the year as a member, you call them up, you go on the app, you tell them I'm coming, the boat's ready, it's filled with petrol, you take all your friends out, you go out, have a laugh and come back. You don't have to worry about all of that monotonous stuff that comes with owning a boat. So, guys, if you want to pretend you've got a boat when you don't have a boat, but still have a boat, call the Captain's Club.
So this is where we come in.
Okay.
And one of the things that we're working, or that we do really well at, is using the infrastructure that the everyday person can get access to. So TradingView, for example, you used TradingView before.
No.
TradingView is like the biggest charting software in the world. We've written an algorithm and we're able to share that with our clients, which gives them the ability to use the language model that we've built in order to trade the chart, right?
But are they trading it or is the algorithm trading it for them?
So I'll go into how it works. The algorithm supplies a signal, and then it's really up to the person if they want to then connect it to their exchange. Now, again, we come back to the Bitcoin. So there are some people that think centralized exchanges are dangerous because they have collapsed in the past. FTX was a disaster. Bybit, for example, is a great one. They got hacked by, I think it was North Korea at the start of the year. They're set up in Dubai as well. They've done really well from that. No one lost money. They're running beautifully now. We've got Binance in China. We've got Coinbase in the United States. So our system basically can connect with anyone who wants to use those centralized exchanges. We're able to then plug our algorithm into that centralized exchange, and then we're able to trade Bitcoin. So one of the cool things, some of those exchanges have what's called like a multi-commodities or unified trading account. So say I've got 10 Bitcoin and I've got them in cold storage. Great, right? I've got the secret codes and, that's all locked down. But I want to now I want to generate some returns from it. So I might take one of those Bitcoins. I'm going to take the risk of putting it on an exchange, but I'm going to use the algorithm that I've developed. Now that algorithm will allow you to use that asset, Bitcoin, which is going up in value as collateral to then trade with. So then what we're able to do is put it to work, to keep it simply. We've got this asset now that becomes productive. So instead of being a passive, still wealth building, but it is incredibly passive, we're now able to put it to work without actually having to sell it, right? That's very, very powerful. The analog to that is that if you don't want to own Bitcoin, but you realize that it's going up and you want a piece of the action, you can use our algorithm simply just to trade Bitcoin and just like
build money as
just build cash, in the regular way. So if you've got Bitcoin and you want to use it as collateral, you get a double upside, right? You get the appreciation of the Bitcoin plus the accrued, productivity of the trading. And we do it incredibly conservative. And remember, we discussed that power law. We've got a very robust risk management framework. Like, again, this is trading. There's nothing is risk-free. But we basically set most of our levels to below these ranges that statistically have never been broken, right? Doesn't mean they never will be broken, but statistically they never have been broken.
Yeah,
so
there's no guarantees in anything.
No guarantees in anything, but it's incredibly safe trading range, and we play in that area. So conservatively, we can generate, the thing is Bitcoin's very volatile, so it actually gives us a lot of opportunity. So you've got all these things going on. You've got Bitcoin appreciating in price, and it's also really volatile. So you want a piece of both of the actions, right? Because you want a piece of the volatility on the daily, and then you also want a piece of the appreciation over time. So what we do is we're able to take advantage of that. If you're able to use those exchanges, we can do that. Otherwise, you can simply trade the spot market using the algorithm too. So, there's a lot of like older guys that they don't actually want to buy the Bitcoin, but they just want to trade it because they know that they're going to generate, just some money going back and forth. And the algorithm is completely, once it's engineered, it's hands off. So you don't have to do anything. It'll do everything for you.
That's so Dubai, bro.
Yeah, that's so Dubai.
Listen,
it's so everywhere, man.
I have 10 million. I do not want to work. I do not want phone calls. I don't want anything, my brother. Take this 10 million, make it 30 million. And then literally that's it.
It's a bit like that, yeah.
Like for me, I'm like that. Like I'm very hands-on.
You're
I'm
busy,
very
man. You've got a
physical.
business, yeah.
I like doing things that are like this.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But for me to look at stuff on a PC, you saw me just trying to send an email earlier. Like it was like quite embarrassing, bro. But like to do things that have me, I think I got ADHD and a few other HDs involved as well. Where it's not entertaining me. Like the whole year thing and memory thing. It's not entertaining me enough. And I don't know if that's like, maybe if I start trading in it, I'll start seeing that stuff happening. Then I'll get into it because then I'll see it's a bit exciting kind of thing. Yeah. But I would love to go, here's $20,000.
Yeah.
What can you do with it?
Correct. And that's right. But the thing is that 97% of traders lose money over eventually pretty much, it's like the casino, right? If you play casino long enough, the casino usually, the house wins. Now, why? It's not because you're less smart than the other traders. It's because you're playing against algorithms. It's all algorithms. The crypto market is nearly all algorithms now. How are you going to beat an algorithm? You're going to stay up all night, all day?
You need an algorithm to be an algorithm,
You need an algorithm to be an algorithm, correct. So traders can do well. Some traders call 1%.
But that's all they do, though. They don't have a life outside of that shit.
No, they don't. So an algorithmic approach, a conservative algorithmic approach is a very effective way to generate returns with Bitcoin. And unless you are willing to give up your life to become a professional trader, it's very, very difficult, right? It's very difficult. It comes back to the thing that said, like that meme, like sometimes we'll talk to someone and they'll be like, oh, but I make 12% today.
Yeah.
Okay, but did you make 12%?
Yeah.
Does that mean you make 12% every day?
Yeah.
No.
All right, but okay, here's some questions. And questions I have to ask. How do I trust your algorithm is
So this is what's really cool. So the first question is, what we do is you don't have to trust us with your money, which is the biggest thing. So, remember I told you at the start of the podcast that thing that I lost all my money on? It asked me to send the money to it and it staked it, right?
Okay.
And then it got stuck in their system and I couldn't get it out, right? So firstly, what we do is we just share an algorithm. So there is always a risk on the exchange, but I'm never, or my company, what we do, we never take custody of our clients' funds.
Okay.
So we're more of a consultant, right? So you've got everything set up, you've got your exchange, you've KYC'd on it, you've got the passwords, the 2FAs and everything.
Okay.
And then you simply go, I know that you guys have a tool, right? We're like an electric drill, right?
Yeah.
You're trading, you're using like a hammer and chisel.
Yeah.
We've developed the Makita drill, electric drill. And you're like, I want to use your drill. Show me how I plug it into my trading account, which means you can control it, you can turn it on, you can turn it off. You can use the algorithm to to create lots of different bots as well. You know, at the end of the day, it is a bot that executes the trades you're setting up.
So who owns it? You guys or the actual client?
So we
it?
share the algorithm with the client, and they have
Okay.
they get access to it, and they're allowed to use as much as they want.
Do you recommend that?
Well, that's how we do it. Yeah, that's how we do
but
it.
I mean, like, for someone like me, would you recommend me doing it as much as I want, or would you recommend kind of like?
So yeah,
taking it
so
easy?
again, it's like we've got an out of the box setup. We try and give people what they want. So we get a lot of people that come in and they're like, I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
Just set it up for me once.
That's me right here.
Yeah, correct.
The conversation we're having after this.
Yeah,
like, is
that's
like,
right.
yeah.
And that's great. But then we've got other people. They're like, show me how to do this. Show me how to do that. I want to.
And you will take the time and show them all of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
we've got an education-based area that we basically teach people and we show them how to engineer it.
But why? How does that work for you as a business?
So
why are you giving away the secret sauce?
So cool. It's a good question. So the algorithm itself is shared, but we don't share the source code.
Okay.
So that's an important distinction. They get lifetime access to the algorithm and updates, but they don't get the source code. And then, you know, one of the things we're releasing an application in Q4, Q1. That's why I'm actually in
More
Dubai.
for monkeys like me who just need very basic stuff done. Yeah.
But that's why we're here, because we've incorporated the company in Dubai and we're actually licensed.
So approved here.
Yeah.
Everything.
Correct. And that's basically some cloud-based software that will it'll facilitate the connection between the algorithm and the exchange, right? At the moment, we're using third parties, but this will facilitate the connection. And what that means is that eventually our clients will also be paying a subscription to us to use that application if they choose to. So by educating them and helping them, it makes them more sticky. They're going to continue to use our software.
So is there kind of like a buy-in kind of
minimum,
or is it kind of like again, like someone like me, if I've got money, and my wife always tells me this, she's like, why do you have money in the safe? I'm really old school like that. Like I'll literally put cash in the safe.
Yeah, that's
like,
cool.
and I don't want it in the bank. Like a bit of French money, bit of Chinese money, bit of English. Like, and I just I like seeing it there, or I like knowing it's there. Like even normal bank accounts, which is normal. I don't like it as much. So for someone like me, who's it's just sitting there doing nothing, obviously you'd advise against that, right?
Well, again, it's like, it's how you look at the money. Like if I don't look at paper money anymore the same. So I would.
I guess I
would buy Bitcoin and then put it to work.
Armageddon, bro. I just want like little nuggets of gold. Like, you know, when shit hits the fan, I'm like, I will trade you this for your horse.
You know what I said to you before? You've always got to have enough to get started again.
Yeah.
And I think that's a smart position to have, right? So if you can diversify into some physical commodities and have some cash available, and if everything goes wrong,
but then if everything goes wrong, then the cash ain't gonna be worth anything anyway.
Well, yeah, okay, but I mean, let's just say that you know, something happens and you've lost your digital whatever. At least you've got stuff in the real world that you can get back on your feet. So again, that's a personal decision that everyone needs to make, and I think that's.
So what's a safe buy-in? Like, what would you say? Like, is Bitcoin, because again, when I look at Bitcoin now, I don't look at it as I've got a chance, and I'm just being honest with you. Yeah. So I look at it as, okay, I should start getting into Bitcoin if I can put 250K in. Like, is $10,000 trying to get into the Bitcoin game or whatever, is it going to make any sense? Or
I think you have to look at it like, where else are you going to put your money, right? What are your options? What are your options? Now, you can screw up the timing and you can buy at the top. Most people will buy the top of the market and then they'll sell it at the bottom. But if you can, and then if you wait 10 years, that won't even matter anyway. Yeah. So, you know, we can talk about where we think Bitcoin's going to be in the next sort of 10 years, because I think that's an interesting conversation to have.
Let's do that.
But, you know, I think it's like, you can either put the money in the bank or buy Bitcoin or buy some gold nuggets. Like, what are you going to do with it? You got to decide what you want to do. Do a little bit of everything.
I mean, the way that I look at Bitcoin is, so we bought our house. Yeah. But we're living in it. Yeah. So I don't care what the market does. Correct. Because I'm living in it for the next 20 years while I'm raising my kids in there. Yeah. So that's the way that I'd be thinking about it now. Yeah. Where if I got Bitcoin and got that stuff, it doesn't exist, kind of thing. Because until my kids need to go to university, then I have another look and be like, should I take some of this out or whatever? Correct. So I'll be thinking long term with it, because I don't think it's a game of.
But what about this? What if you had a way to buy the Bitcoin and then earn and then actually receive something monthly from it.
But this is the point that
Well,
I'm
now
trying
you're
to
looking
make.
at it more like a property and
Yeah.
you're getting rent, right? But it doesn't come along with all the sales taxes and all the bullshit that comes with pretty much any other investment. So this is the problem that we solve. It's like we can turn that passive asset into a productive asset. Now, again, this is not risk-free. There are risks, like it's trading. But it is a solution to a problem that a lot of people have, which is I've got only Bitcoin wealth, or I want to buy this thing, but what am I going to do? Wait 20 years? Well, we can help you now. We can make things happen a lot faster.
And how do you feel like the community's taken to what you do?
Pretty well. I think there's a lot of what would you call them?
Also,
idealistic.
Okay,
No.
that's
I
what
think
you-
more, like people just that are just so fixed in their mindset, and just buy it and hold it and never sell it and just keep it. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but is that really what you want to do with your money? Like just look at it on a piece of paper and it's gone up.
Same conversation I had the other day.
I want to pay my mortgage. I want to buy food.
Why are you wearing your Rolex to the gym? Like, well, what's the point of having it?
Correct. What's the point of having it?
Like, to just put it in a thing and never wear it. And it's like,
it's kind of like where I'm at with it. But, again, everyone's different. But if I'm going to buy any asset, I want it to generate an
Money,
income for me. That just makes sense. The best asset, though, is the one that you'll never sell. This is like, Warren Buffett thing. Like, you want to buy something that you're never going to sell. Bitcoin is that thing you can buy and you're never going to sell. But you need something to start to
because
to
then
do with it.
Yeah, because then if I'm buying it, it's all good me being so rich off it by the time I'm 70.
Yeah,
but
you're still gonna have to sell it.
But yeah, exactly. But then what have I really gained from it?
Correct.
Like I haven't been. It's that tough thing. It's like saving. Saving anything is like I want to save.
Yeah.
But then if I'm saving, I'm not enjoying any of the bloody effort that I'm putting in to make this money.
Correct.
So like, there's people that they have no holidays, they don't go anywhere, they're just saving, which can be good, but at the same time, you're not living your life because life literally is done. It's just a fart and it's over kind of thing. So you got to kind of get bits out of it here and there, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's right. And this is what we solve. Like the clients that we have, they love us for what we do because I had a client message me and he was like, we did a family holiday this year from the money that we'd made from this.
Nice.
I've had miners that have stopped mining because this is more profitable than mining because we're mining with software. Like at the end of the day, what's mining, right? You're trying to get Bitcoin and you're paying electricity to get Bitcoin. But what we're doing is we're using Bitcoin to get more Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? But there's no overheads. Right, because once
it makes no sense the other way, does it? Really?
Well, not really. No. And this is what we're trying to, and this is why these podcasts are good because it's trying to communicate the power of what we've actually built, and we do it in a really, really safe way, as safe as possible. Capital preservation is the number one thing, because if an asset is going up, on this trajectory, that you don't need to be aggressive, and this comes down to when you are aggressive. You get wrecked. And that's what's happened to me in the past because I wanted to make 8% a day.
Yeah.
Like how dumb was I?
An hour.
It's 8 hours.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
Yeah.
It's just nuts. So,
yeah.
We've learned our lessons and we build a product and an algorithm that it was really built for my needs, right? I built it around what I wanted to get out of it. And that's like, I've got this asset. I want to own this asset, but I want to do something with it. Let's build something and let's do that.
I think that's also important. Like even when I built this studio, my name's attached to it. So therefore I wanted to make it an experience and make sure nobody ever comes in here feeling like they've been cheated or they didn't get their worth or anything like that, right? Kind of same thing with your thing is you don't want to end up being a person who people give money to and then your name gets trashed because you didn't do it from a place from a place where you secured yourself and safety and you had everyone's best interests at heart,
and
right?
this is why the education part is huge. So building an education arm to this is so important because people have to educate themselves about this. You can't do anything blindly. So that's really important. That's part of what we do as well.
But the education is really important because we went through that phase where people thought if you said do your own research, you could steal from people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at the end of every crypto or
Yeah, they say not financial advice.
yeah,
and-
do your
yeah,
own
it's
research,
like-
do your research.
yeah.
That's not a carte blanche to just, you know, rug pull people and do all this kind of stuff because
Yeah.
that's what they're, but we told you to do your own research. No, mate.
Yeah.
You made 17 videos of why I should definitely throw my life savings in this.
Yeah.
And in the 18th video, you said, I do your own research. Do you know what I mean? So it's really important to kind of, the way you're saying, to educate people where it's not like do your own research. It's like do your own research, but here's the research I've done and we've done that suits what I'm telling you to do kind of thing.
Correct.
Right?
And then you got to make decisions based on your interpretation of what we give you, right? And you got to say, okay, I understand your theories, I understand the math, I understand what you guys are doing, and now this is where I want to lie. This is where I'm comfortable to lie within that. And we're able to then help people, you know, set things up the way they want to. And that's just part of what we do because, you know, and another thing about Bitcoin as well is that you're not investing in anyone or a person. It's like gold, right? It's like that's the beauty of Bitcoin. And look, you know, people argue about who created it. No one's ever going to really know. That's ship sailed. Yeah.
Do you think it won't eventually just come out?
I don't think so. Not with like 100%. They might get closer. They might. I don't think so. I think that ship sailed, and I think that's part of the beauty of it.
It's fucking
right?
Banksy, I'm telling you.
Well, maybe
he did it, bro.
But that's the beauty of it, right? Because you know it's got let's call it an immaculate conception.
Yeah.
Everything else is just throwing money at a CEO or you're throwing money at an influencer who's got a stake in it. Whereas as Bitcoin is fully decentralized, it's beyond that. So if you're gonna play in this market, in this industry,
Bet on yourself.
my position is now, bet on yourself, but just bet on like, you know,
Bet on something
Bitcoin
that no
is,
one has any kind of like, what's it called?
what's that?
You know, not stake, but you know when people have this, I can't even remember the word that I'm looking for. I'll remember it soon.
Yeah.
But basically don't bet on cunts, bro, like who have ulterior motives.
Correct.
Like Bitcoin doesn't have an ulterior motive, right?
It doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, and I learned that, you know, that protocol that I lost money on, like I was following the guy on Twitter at the time. And like the shit he was saying, man, it was like, man, this guy's like the Warren Buffett of crypto and what this is amazing. And it's all bullshit. Like it was all bullshit.
How do you think that should be handled? Because, you know, we went through all this influencers promoting and NFTs and cryptos where they got these really big names to kind of promote them and then do rug pulls and all that stuff. Like, how do we regulate that kind of stuff?
I think there's laws that are there to protect people. I think the regulatory framework, perhaps for those kind of things, it needs to be more clear. Again, one of the reasons we're in Dubai is to actually get a license because the regulatory framework, what we do,
they don't mess around, bro.
but it's very good. And they've actually like, they've drilled down, whereas there are some countries that are so slow, but they've just got this umbrella over everything. And the world is changing and digital assets are one of those things that are moving so quickly. You need to, the laws and the regulations, they need to be up to date.
There's no room for gray areas.
Yeah, correct. And but they need, and it's like you can't just blanket everything as this. Like the SEC recently classifying Bitcoin as a commodity was a huge thing, right? I think that was, and that comes back to like, why did I start investing in Bitcoin at around 40,000? That was probably the reason why, because when the SEC came out and basically said this is a commodity, right? That was the safest time to start investing.
Yeah.
That was the crossing the Rubicon moment. It was not going to go to zero the moment that happened. That was it.
You got the stamp.
It got the stamp
of approval.
You know, and that's when I kind of went all in on it.
So where's Bitcoin going to be in the next 10 years?
So it's a good question.
Apart from your Bitcoin doing very well.
So what's really cool about the algorithm is that it's price agnostic. So regardless of what Bitcoin does, it's still going to always be generating your returns, right? Because it's doing that in a very, very sophisticated and predictable way. The market goes up, we make money. If the market goes down, we generate more money when it goes down. That's just part of the strategy that we use. So, you know, the other thing that we have is we've got these cycles, and they're kind of these like sine waves, almost like a clap from the beginning of the first block. And it was like a really big wave at the beginning, and then a really, you know, then the next wave. But they're actually getting smaller and smaller, like a sound wave kind of gets smaller and smaller. So today the price is 117,000. If following the trend of the last cycles, but also factoring in that these sort of sine waves are getting smaller and smaller, you know, there will be you know, we're going to have a top potentially, you know, and we can timestamp this. I think anywhere from 160 to probably 160 to 200,000, perhaps by the Q1, Q4 into 2025, 2026, if the cycle continues out how it has in the past, right? Now, but if we just follow the power law trend, which is that line, is the most reliable thing, right? There's no guarantee the cycle will happen. What the cycle actually does, it just creates that FOMO, and then people go a bit crazy. But the power law, that line through the middle, when you do the math, the cycles actually cancel each other out, and we've just got this straight line. So I think by the end of the year, following the power law, we should be at around 138,000, right? So today we're 117. So let's say on the average, it'll be 138. We could have a top and then a crash back down to the power law support at the end of next year, which is November 2026, brings it down to about 70,000. So there is potential that Bitcoin goes to 160 to 100 to 200, 180, 200, and then comes all the way back to 70,000, at least below 100,000. So what's going to happen? A lot of people are going to get wrecked. They're going to buy at the top.
Yeah.
A lot of companies are going to over leverage.
That's
is what
if
happens.
they want to sell quick and make a quick profit, right?
Well, a lot of people that bought at 16,000, they're going to sell at 200, and then everyone who didn't buy is going to start buying at 200. And
Okay, so
the market
what
will crash
number?
Yeah.
What number would you go? Thank you very much. It's been emotional.
Well,
I'm out.
this is the
Is there a
thing,
number?
right? It comes down to
I mean, realistic. Obviously not millions or whatever. But
no. So I'm just the way I look at it is like this, because I do rotate the capital because I want to make more Bitcoin. I want more Bitcoin. So there's only a few ways to make more Bitcoin. One of them is use my software, because you can use Bitcoin and you can earn more Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But the other way is that if it gets really, really expensive, you know, let's say the deviation from the mean is significant enough, there's a good chance we're going to revert back down to the power law support, which will give me the opportunity to buy back cheaper. So I've actually got a lot of indicators.
You're playing both teams right now.
Yeah,
Like,
I kind of am.
Yeah.
So if the price gets close to a second standard deviation from the power law, which is around 200, 210, the market at that point would be so overbought that I would consider rotating out a percentage of it and then buying back in order to just multiply my Bitcoin. But in 10 years' time, we follow that trend, the power law trend. It should be $1 million in 10 years. But if there's a bubble, the top of that bubble could be as high as around 4 million, between 2 and 4 million, and with a low potentially around 650,000. So again, in 10 years' time, an average of $1 million with a potential high of 4 million even.
Would you say crypto changed your life?
I would say Bitcoin did.
Very good answer. Very good answer.
I would say
definitely,
Bitcoin
right?
did. Yeah, definitely. It was like, look, I've made money in investing. Bitcoin has that X factor. And the other stuff was just it was a bit like, it's been, you know, it's just companies and balance sheets and this and that. And, you know, I've had companies online and internet companies, and I've really been at the forefront of a lot of the technologies that have come out, YouTube advertising, Facebook advertising. Bitcoin really just fit well with what I'd been doing. Like it's digital, it's online, it's investing. You know when you got that chart of like the circles, and you know you got that center one. It just was that for me. It just brought a lot of my strengths together. So definitely it has.
But could you not technically use the algorithm for stocks as well?
We can use it. Technically, you can apply the algorithm to everything. It works particularly well with things that are absorbing liquidity. Things like the S&P 500 or gold. You can even use when we give you the algorithm, you can put it on anything. You can technically trade cryptos with it. Like, we just don't recommend it because we don't understand.
Yeah, what would you recommend? Like right now, because I am getting this thing because I want to make extra income. Like who doesn't want to make extra money? But what would you say right now if, you're going to give it to me and you're going to say.
Well, again, it's like, we don't trust the fundamentals we don't trust forget the fundamentals. We don't trust the DNA of any other digital currency. We only trust Bitcoin.
Even Ethereum? Even
Ethereum. No, because it's centralized. It's controlled. It went from a proof of work to a proof of stake model. They control the supply. No, I don't trust it because there's people it's not trustless. Bitcoin's trustless. So I trust the math and that's it.
It's a very weird one, right? It's something out of a book, like out of a story.
Something out of a sci-fi
Like, yeah.
kind of movie. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
have you ever really thought about it before and been like, who and why and how?
Look, if you look at the history of cryptography, this has been in the works for at least the last sort of 30, 40 years. It's like any technology. It starts with an idea and then they start to develop it and develop it. And I know that some of the ideas it comes from, you know, Alan Turing. Turing, yeah.
Made the computer,
the cryptography stuff that he was doing in World War II. It's almost like starting from that branch. And then you've got, in the last sort of 20 years, cypherpunks growing ideas. And then suddenly you've got this moment in time and this thing kind of emerges and just starts working from day dot.
It's just crazy, dude. This story.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a dodge one as well because, I mean, we have these stories of especially in England, of bidmen winning the lottery.
Oh yeah.
And then
I used to live in London for a couple of years. I think I remember one of those, the Lotto Loud.
Yeah. And
do you remember him?
And he lost everything and came back to being a bin man again.
He was nuts.
A lot of people aren't used to having money and they don't know, like, especially a lot in a quick time.
Yeah.
Right? So when this started happening, I'm sure a lot of people
people
crazy, right?
Yeah.
Made a lot. My friend made 400 mil.
Yeah.
In his 20s.
But see, I think that those days...
And cashed out, by the way.
Yeah, and cashed out. But those days are over. I really do think. Like, look at the cycle right now, the altcoin market, it's like, it's not doing what it used to. It used to be you could just throw a dart and you would make money. Now it's a lot more difficult. The one thing that's happening is that Bitcoin's becoming the gorilla in the room, right? It really is. And what's going to happen, like, we're at NFTs now. Has anyone said one thing
I'll tell
about
you where
NFT?
they are. They're in my fucking wallet doing nothing, mate.
So these things are going to come and go, right? And how many people made money from some of them?
The promises that I was given. That stupid grandpa that I bought and all these bloody, and I got like loads of them.
Yeah,
loads.
you got loads of them.
And the thing is, it's like, now that I think about it, I'd never even put the physical pictures up. Like, they're that shit.
Yeah, I know, it's nuts.
But, I mean, it's crazy. Like the apes.
Yeah, the apes.
How many people?
What? Yeah, look, it's... Yeah, I think those days are gone and you need to be smarter about it. Even like Bitcoin now, like, you're not early. No one's really early. Even if it goes to $1 million, even if it goes to $10 million, which it might in the next 20, 30 years, if it does what it's doing, which is basically absorbing the world's liquidity, right? People are moving money out. You know, the governments are printing money. They're adding liquidity into the system. And Bitcoin is a sponge that's starting to attract a lot of that money, right? People are selling properties, they're buying Bitcoin. People are putting their savings into Bitcoin and they're doing it all around the world, right? So it's like this giant sponge that's sucking it all up. But it's already grown to a $1 trillion asset, multi-trillion dollar asset. In terms of orders of magnitude left, there's probably not that many left. It's already grown in terms of its scale. Like it's jumped massively and massively. So you need to be smarter about your investment with it. Now, if you've got $100 million, by all means, buy Bitcoin, hold it for 10 years. It's going to be worth $1 billion. Now, but if you're the average Joe and let's just say you've got $100,000, is $1 million going to be life-changing in 10 years? Well, it's going to help, but the rate of inflation, you know, you probably won't even be able to, I tell you now, you can't buy a house. You know, a house, like it's not that much money.
For $1 million, basically.
So you're either going to gamble on an altcoin or an NFT and most likely lose your money, right? You can buy Bitcoin and do nothing with it, which is still better than most things.
Also good for kids as well, for your children.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So
for the future.
Yeah,
you know,
so
right?
like my son, I've got Bitcoin that I put into cold storage and I don't play games with it. I don't trade it. I don't do any of that because he's got 25 years till he needs it, right? But me right now.
But then why don't you put it into Minotaur and let it?
You know why? Because
you're just like, no, this is different.
Like,
this is different. It's my son. Yeah,
correct. And I like to just see it there and it's and you know, he'll look at it one day.
It's my safe, right?
Yeah, it's like, my safe, yeah. But like for me, for what I do, it's like, no, I want to buy any asset that I buy. I want it to be productive. If I want to buy real estate, I want good rent.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, what can you do this with? Like, you know, gold, you're going to buy gold, you're going to put in a safe. Okay. But
someone can still steal it. You can lose it.
Yeah. But it's not going to help you pay the rent. It's not going to change your life. Like we can actually change. And
you can't even
lives.
cut gold either. Like if you got a big chunk of gold, it's like, how are you going to, if you just want to take a bit of money out of it, you got to go to a goldsmith. Knock a little chunk off for you. But And
another thing to look at like this is like, think about starting a business, right? Think about what goes into starting a business. You've got to have a good idea. got to be in the right place, run time. You have to have a good industry. And then you got to put up money, right? You got to risk money. All this stuff happens before one customer walks through the door.
You hear that, Win? You're bloody hearing all this shit while you're relaxing and walking around barefoot while I'm not here. Yeah? Risk, investment, money.
But like, we also solve that problem. It's like, you can buy the asset that's going to appreciate, and now you can start to earn money from it almost instantly. It's like a business with no overhead. So, you know, there's a lot of people that come to us with, but there's other people that come to us and they just want a side hustle, but they don't want all the drama that comes with actually having to start a new business, right? Because they're sick of that too. Like, they've got the money, but they don't have the ideas, or they've got the money and they don't want the risk, or they've got the money, they don't want the overheads, they don't want the staff.
But can you side hustle with a smaller number?
Okay, so I'll be frank, because we're very conservative, we recommend like, you want to start with like at least 30,000, 20 to 30,000, because you know, if you've got $1,000 and you know, you're going to make a couple of $100,
it's not worth it.
What you're going to do is you're going to become aggressive.
Yeah.
Not to us, to the system.
Exactly,
you're going to demand more from it. And in this, with the volatility of the underlying asset, is if you're too aggressive, it will teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And if you're smart and you look at the math, you can play the game extremely well and extremely safely. We've got the roadmap of the power law. So that was another thing, right? We originally were running the algorithm probably a little bit too offensively, let's call it. And the thing is that it was like we had this really powerful algorithm, but it was like flying an airplane in a cloud. And then when we started working with Giovanni and we saw the power law and how it relates to Bitcoin, it gave us the roadmap. And the roadmap, it was like suddenly we could see
just clarity. Isn't it crazy how just one person comes in with just one statement and then, why do you not move this one here? And you're just like, oh shit, everything's changed. It was
wild. So we already had the plane, but we needed the vision. And with that, we were then able to scale into it. But we also made it safer. And we did have to, like, you know, they say, you know, you have to take from Peter to pay Paul or something. This is like a saying like that. But like the sacrifice was performance. So we would sacrifice a couple of % each month in order to make it safer. But it allows us to sleep well at night.
Reputationally wise,
correct,
it helps you out. Yeah, like you said, it helps you sleep at night.
And that doesn't stop someone. Like we always use this metaphor. Like if someone wants to jump in the cockpit and turn it into a fighter jet, they can. We're not going to stop them. That's why the way that we run it is a licensing model, right? So they get full control of it. Again,
but how does it work? How they go online and find the thing, or they call you? Or
we do. Like if someone checks out my YouTube channel or my ex, DM me. Like we do free consultation calls if people want to talk to us, and if they're a good fit, you know, we discuss it with them and we share the access and that's it. It's really simple. Yeah.
But from that call, like how long is typically that call?
So again, the call, well, we usually do like an hour consultation calls.
Because you need that with someone like...
like I don't know how long we've been going for.
Can you say that all again, please, from the beginning?
This is a good primer. If someone watches this, then maybe we don't have to explain too much. But you know, they do the consultation call. We just have a chat, make sure that everyone's in sync. Everyone's got the same goals. And then depending on where you are geographically, some countries it's easier to get started right away. Other countries you might have to set up a certain exchange, but we do work with all the major exchanges and TradingView. So we really have no barrier to entry. Pretty much anyone can sign up with us, as long as we're a good fit. This is why we do these calls. We don't just sell our product on a website. We actually want to talk to the people because
see who it is,
because we do feel like there is a responsibility to educate people and to help them. And this is just the approach that we've taken as a company. Yeah.
That's sick. And even when we were talking about this whole thing with the Bitcoin and all that stuff, I feel like all those jumps and all those people making money and all those people making mistakes had to happen to just clear the riffraff out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just the chavs from coming in and just be like, oi, kind of thing. They're done now.
Correct.
Like the tourist holiday's over and now it's the people who really understand and kind of want to make, you know, generational wealth and future out of it.
Yeah.
Right?
If people want to read it, you can read about, well, you're English, right? Your background, like you lived in England?
My whole life I grew up there, but Lebo originally.
Yeah, Lebo originally. So have you heard about the South Sea stock? There was a bubble that happened in the 1700s. So there was basically a stock company, a company that issued stocks and there was this gigantic bubble. And what actually happened is everyone started investing in this company. This is so wild. You got to read this book. It's a great book. It's called The Crook, the King, and the Gambler.
Okay.
This was in England, right? There were people that worked in castles that were like, and they ended up buying the castles off their lords because they were buying these stocks, and these stocks were going up 100 times. 100.
Wow.
It's if you read into the history of this, it was exactly like the cryptocurrency bubble, right? So what happens is you had this one company that basically what happened is they invented the stock market, and they had one company that was started out legit, and then and then it became not legit, right? It was basically, it ended up being a Ponzi scheme. And then you had all these other companies that started doing the same thing, and everyone was just going nuts. Like, it nearly destroyed the country. It took 100 years for the country to recover.
Wow.
And what I get from this story is that the one thing that came out of it was a publicly listed company. So everything was a scam, but the technology that emerged is the stock market that we know today.
Yeah.
And it came from, like what you're saying, the riffraff taking advantage of this new technology, and eventually it got swept away. And then we have this technology, which is a publicly listed company. What's the difference between what's been going on with crypto is we have this technology, which is the blockchain, right? And then it's been launched and it's created all this wealth, and it's come down so many times like a house of cards. And the one thing that emerges is the one true blockchain that matters, and it's Bitcoin. And there's historical precedence to this. Go read about it. It's a fantastic story.
I wanna. What's the name of the book again? So
it's called the Crook, the King, and the Gambler. But that also makes me feel like I like history. I like philosophy. I like all these things. And if I can find a historical precedent that's kind of like a parallel, it gives me more confidence in what I'm doing. And I really can see the parallels between what happened back then. And actually, one of the really interesting things is Sir Isaac Newton, who you know Isaac Newton, right? So Isaac Newton, he actually lost all his money. He bought the stock, right? The
same stock,
the South Sea stock.
Oh wow!
He bought it. He sold. It kept going up. He bought back in all his money, and then it crashed, and he lost everything. This was probably one of the smartest men that ever lived. Got wrecked because he was undisciplined, right? And he was emotional.
But then again, he probably wouldn't have been depressed sitting under a tree for the apple to fell on his head.
Maybe that's why the apple fell on his head.
Everything good comes out of something,
But this is another thing as well, is that we come back like full circle. Why do you trade with an algorithm? Because you're going to become emotional at some point, and you're going to trade, and you're going to make a bad decision. If Sir Isaac Newton got emotional and lost all his money,
then who are you to
then who are any of us?
But also because it's very clear that we're living in an algorithmic world now, and the future is only getting more algorithmic.
That's exactly right.
Right? So
that's exactly right. So you got to understand
we can't beat them.
You can't beat them. You got to join them.
You
got to join them, and you got to find something that makes sense with you. And this is why I'm coming out and having these conversations and talking about it, because I feel like we've got something really special, and we can share it with people too.
Well, look, now that you guys are out here in Dubai, I can actually come in early, right? And get everyone else in Dubai to come in early too. And I can be one of the originals. When are you back again?
And Dubai's great. We're back. We're coming for the Bitcoin conference in Abu Dhabi on the 7th to 8th of December.
So we're September. October,
yeah, we're one of the sponsors there. We're actually going to have a stall. So if anyone in Dubai or the UAE or is watching, we'll be in Abu Dhabi. It's called Bitcoin Mena, and we'll have a stall there.
I'll put it all in the stories and all that before, because I want to now get the algorithm, and I want to do another episode in December.
That's a good idea.
And just talk about how it worked for me and stuff like that. That'll be pretty cool.
100%.
To see the things. Bro, it's been an absolute pleasure for you to be here. I know we have, again, I need another episode because I feel like we got another 3 hours worth of talking.
How long did we go for? An hour?
It's been about at least hour and 8 minutes.
Great.
Yeah. Is there anything you feel like we missed out?
No, I think we covered a lot, man. It's been really good. Yeah. I'm enjoyed my time here. I'm really happy. I've done this podcast and got to meet you guys as well. It's fantastic.
Yeah, 100%. But we'll definitely do another one because I want to.
For sure.
And win. I'll also give you $2.50 to put in there into the algorithm. And once we finish, you're gonna have a full $10, man, and see where we can go. Bro, thank you so much.
No worries.
My house is your house, and
thank you so much
for educating the people. And hopefully we can do another one in the thingy and see how much money I made, and we'll have enough for our metro
ticket.
Let's do it,
man.
From the money I put in there. Ready?
Let's do it.
Boom.